Oh, bro. Damn. Oh, we're gonna drag them back down to prison. Oh, shoot.
It's can't be happening.
And right in the nads, you bitch. We're watching a 4-year-old have a temper tantrum with Hyper Beam right now. Like, that's amazing.
No, stop it. Mom said I'm the best. I'm the best, damn it.
Like, look at this guy. He's going hard. But unfortunately, he's about to be real soft when we're done with him. Honestly, this might be the most intense torture scene we've seen so far. Mainly because you're actually getting across how helpless he is, and just at every step of the way, it gets worse every time he fights back or tries to run away. No, it is I. Light. Like, literally, that's his identity. I can't get over it. I mean, that certainly looked like a fate worse than death. And I mean, if we have all the information we need from them, it's time to probably get rid of them, right? So I think it's safe to say it was way worse than we thought. I mean, we knew this is the MC who doesn't pull his punches when you mess around. You're gonna find out. We still haven't properly seen what happened to Old Wolfie, but I imagine it's gonna look something similar to Reek from Game of Thrones. If you know, you know. But these two elves were bad. They were beyond disgusting. They did not view living things that could process pain as anything other than an ant to step on. And I gotta be real, bro. There's something so satisfying, but also disgusting when it goes worse than you're expecting. Because I'm thinking they're gonna die, or they're gonna be dragged back to his little kingdom underground, and maybe we'll hear the screams. Maybe we'll see a shot like one of the final shots when they're all just kind of strung up. But it's the fact that he doesn't lie. He's like, I'm going to rip the information from you. And he does. And the fact that they verify the information, because if you're going to torture someone through various painful tactics, you know, sometimes the things they scream out might have some inconsistencies. So the fact that his people make sure that it all lines up, and once they had every bit of information they possessed, we no longer have any need for you. Eliminated. Because really, in the grand picture, there's bigger fish for him to fry. He personally feels like he's involved because had he killed these elves early, this never would have happened. Is he directly responsible? Of course not. It's these two. But at the same time, you know, he wanted to make sure they got their punishment. If this is what he does to two people that passed by and wronged him, just, you know, they kind of in a little passenger way kind of screwed us over. They didn't personally leave us in a dungeon and almost ruin our life. No. This is just, hey, these are two kids who deserve better. Pissed me off greatly. We still quite don't know what happened with old Pupper. We know what happened, but we never saw it, which means, oh god, our imagination is running wild. We're going after the elven bitch next, and she's laughing about how, wasn't it so funny when we sniped him in the leg? Girl, this is what we did to because of what someone did to people we just met. What do you think he's gonna do to you when he finds you? Oh my god. Like, there are certain characters he's gonna keep alive and continuously torture, and I think everyone who wronged him are those. And everyone else who wrongs him in present day, whether because of friends or just, I don't know, you look at him wrong way, hard to say anymore. That's where you're gonna experience a fate worse than death. And then you're gonna die. This MC doesn't hold back, and I'd easily say this week's episode was the most enjoyable by far, and there's a lot of really good character writing moments as well, just past the obviously edge that we, you know, gobble up oh so effortlessly. Now, if you did make it this far in the video, drop a like, share your support on this video, subscribe if you're new around here. A lot of you don't do that, and I see it in the analytics. And hey, we also have the Patreon where you can catch my full live reactions to all these episodes and more. And hey, we're also doing a giveaway over on Patreon. If you join before the end of the month, you get entered in a 1-year membership giveaway. So great time to join. Now, personally for me, my favorite moment comes just near the end, and it's not an edge moment. It's the way the kid gave up. And it's such a human reaction. So we didn't revive any of the fallen comrades. Actually kind of surprised me because I saw enough people being like, you know, he probably got something up his sleeves. Hell, we don't really know exactly what goes on in his kingdom. He might have the Fountain of Youth down there. Who the hell knows? Eternal life? We never know anymore. Do I think keeping them dead is the right move, both narratively and emotionally? Yeah, because if we can revive anything, then, you know, that basically removes a sense of death. But I think there would have been an out. You could have said, oh, actually, this wounds is blah, blah, blah. So if we use this one card we only have one of, we can revive him. There would have been a way, but I think it does hit harder knowing we couldn't say, because then it makes his own guilt all the heavier, which makes his revenge all the more savage. But the moment I like is with the brother. He says, I'm done. I'm going to go back home and I'm not going to be an adventurer. The sister basically says, I'm going to study. I got a lot to learn. Probably she'll be an adventurer again someday. But to be honest, even if she didn't, it would make sense, because it's easy to want to do a job. And you see this actually a lot with like people who are police or firefighters or military, any of that type of stuff where you put your life in danger, right? You think you can handle it. And you see it a lot that once you get your first true taste of almost dying, they quit. And you can't even blame them, because it's easy to think you can do a thing until you realize just how, yeah, your human consciousness and your desire to live is like, no, naturally don't do that. That is really dangerous. It doesn't make them lesser, and it doesn't make this kid an idiot or a coward. No, he's normal. And I think most people who would try to criticize him for quitting here are the same people who would be acting like the elf if actually faced with danger like this. They'd be running and screaming and begging for their mother, probably pissing their pants all in the process. Now, some, very select few, wouldn't and would be able to deal with it, and hey, great for you. But most people can't, and it doesn't make them a coward. I think his just like, I'm done, easily my favorite moment of the episode. I just thought, honestly, it caught me by surprise more than the death has in the past couple weeks. So I was like, wow, I'm really expecting, hey, you know, we'll give him some new gear, they'll maybe be reluctant to go on to big adventures, but, you know, they'll train or something. No, he's like, I'm done, I'm good. Wow. That's why I like this episode more than the past. It's just, you get the satisfying edge, you get the satisfying revenge. And as I say on this channel, if you're new, edge does not equal bad. Edge can be intentional. I mean, if you play a very violent video game, it's edgy, but it doesn't mean it has to be slop. There's ways to do edge that makes it feel effortless, and there's ways to do edge that makes it seem, well, very forced and fake. This was a great episode. I'd say this was probably the best episode by far, and I think it is that kind of great category. The other episodes, I think, as much as I liked last week, it did mostly what I expected. It played by the rules that I felt like it came to present itself with. This week, I felt like they actually elevated past where I was expecting the show to go. I mean, especially because like once they brought them back and they were like torturing them for information, I was like, oh, we're not going to see them die. No, we did. Okay. I don't even know what grabbed them, what parasitic worm snake things ate them. But that's, yeah, like, the fact that if you really think about this, and this is why I love episode 2 all the more, we know how peaceful and great his village, his little city looks. And on the same hand that shows us this, you just reverse it and you see the most demonic shit. Don't mess with the MC, don't mess with his people, and hell, if this is what he'll do for people he barely knows, because really in the grand picture, does he know these kids that well? Not really. I am 100% convinced he is the man who will destroy the world, and humans will definitely come out on top by the end, but in humanity do I trust that we'll be just as bad, if not worse, than all the other species before us. Our limited lifespan makes us all the more hatred-filled, because we gotta condense it in a short amount of time. Let me know your thoughts down below. This week's episode, do you agree it was the best episode, or do you got a different one? Let me know. Drop a like, share, support, subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, Patreon full live reactions and exclusives. Also like to give video shoutouts to those patrons. All right, so today we got DYR, Slazel, Isil Sedera, Jake McCarthy, Divine Tank, Chris, Kieran Dean, DX, FBI, Old Doom. We also have Just a Micro, so I appreciate the support. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.